Okay, this video will take you through step by step about the Trader IQ 6 EAs in 6 months course. We do have a program 2 which is launching. We obviously launched program 1 a little over 2 months ago now at the beginning of September. So we'll talk a little bit about that too and give you a little bit of an update in terms of what we've achieved in what's been a remarkable 2 months, as well as some basic ABCs around about what EAs can do and some key principles. Of course, this is an important message, and we've got to just reinforce that the choice to use EAs or otherwise is your decision. We've deliberately made them so they're completely user definable in terms of some of the variables, and we can't make the choice for you as to whether EAs are something worth adding to your trading toolbox or otherwise. So let's just review what program 1 was all about. It was about 6 EA models in 6 months. And included in that, there was some learner course components in static videos, work as a group, actively identifying potential price action based strategies from idea through to model development. And of course, there's going to be different times in that 6 months where people are going to be able to participate more and participate less. And of course, no programming or coding needed. We're covering that into making sure that your energies and efforts are focused on idea development, and then of course the testing. And so what we're trying to do is prepare you for a lifetime of developing EAs, and because of that we're offering hands-on experience at all stages of model development and monitoring. And of course the real bonus is that you get access to all models developed on the course. That's what program 1 was all about, and we are looking at the idea of an EA master group later on, perhaps in the second quarter of next year. So again, something that we would be offering to any future programs. When we look at EA development, there are 6 key stages, and obviously we go through each of these in detail in the course. But for your information now, we need to start with an initial concept and feasibility analysis, and this involves coming up with a price action idea that looks as though it might have potential. The end point of that is strategy design and prototyping. So we come up with a prototype EA that we can start to work on. We can start to back test and see how it performs. We can make sure that it's doing actually what we think it's going to do. We can change things in that prototype. And of course, we subsequently move on to full back testing, the end point of which is to justify a forward test on specific instruments with specific settings. That forward test is obviously done proactively. So we're not looking at historical data, we're looking at live data. And ultimately, of course, should one have a successful forward test, we can move to live testing on small volumes and then scale that accordingly as we fully deploy the EA. So in terms of where we are now, we've gone through the first 3 stages of this in program 1 rather rapidly. But of course, we've missed out one key part of this, which is that programming, which of course we're helping with optimization processes as part of the back testing and subsequently forward testing. And of course, the ongoing monitoring, which we must do. And again, part of the program that we're running covers all of that in detail. And at each stage, we define the stage objective and processes, what we're using to test whether we meet minimum success standards or otherwise, and when to move to the next level or file an EA possibly that we don't think is going to work or goes back to the drawing board. And ideally, we're backing these up with objective measures. So we know with every EA where we are and what the next step is and what's going to determine when we move to that next step. So if we look at what we've done in program 1, just to give you a real deal example, we started off with the idea of developing 6 models, and under those, there will be EAs being how that model functions on particular instruments with particular settings. And the ones in green are those now moved into forward testing. Those that are red, we've sidelined, and then there are others in various sorts of stages. You can see the number of EAs that we're expecting on each model beside that. And we've also included the price action. So we want different types of price action. So some are reversals, some are breaking out of a congestion, and some trend continuation. And then, of course, within that, there is the opportunity to accumulate or just do one trade a day or one trade at a time. So the bottom line was, boom, we wanted 6 models, we got 15 that were actually sort of in the process of development. We'll probably trim these down to 7 or 8, which will be the ultimate ones that we take through to forward testing. And then, of course, within those 7 or 8 models, there's up to 18 EAs, many of which have already been finalized. And it's all about the power of the book. What do we mean by this? Well, what we're talking about with each specific idea, we're looking for a single model development and then multiple EAs under the same model, which would be different settings and different instruments. But it's not just about that. It's about how these EAs work together and get a synergy of market action that both mitigates risk and optimizing profit. And so I've got an example, a real deal example from what we've developed so far to show you what I mean by that, as well as a bigger picture with all of those EAs functioning together. And of course, each book or matrix, depending on what you want to call it, is constantly monitored and added to and taken away over time, not only with new models, but adjustments of existing EAs as market conditions change, as we discover new things about the models that we're actually using. So it's not a process that we do once and then that's it. It's a process of continuous development. So we're going to give you an example of one. This is one we've termed the Bollinger Caress, which essentially price action is reversal using movement outside of bands and then close back inside a Bollinger Band. Now, the primary time frame we have used is a 4-hourly, although we are developing EAs on the 30-minute charts as well. And we are in forward test on this. And just remember that there's more to back testing and forward testing than simply just slapping a back test on a model. We need to make sure that that model works in all market conditions and is optimized for such. But the key thing is, with all of these models and what we've stressed in the course, is we're getting people to participate, to get involved, to get started, because what we're trying to teach you here is things you can use for a lifetime. So let's have a look at the Bollinger Caress with 3 EAs underneath that model. So this is on 0.1 of a lot and a backtest from the 1st of from January 2022 on the 4-hourly chart for the Euro Aussie dollar. And you can see here the key figures that we look at is the gross profit. And this, remember, this is on 0.1 of a lot. Okay, so 1 mini lot is $3,000. The maximum drawdown was 2.6%. And we can see here that short trades won 67% of the time. Long trades won 74% of the time. We can see the average profit is better than the average loss significantly. And this is the equity curve of that EA in action from January 2022 until currently. So a very nice curve, which shows very little pull down, but constantly moves to the upside. So having done that with the Euro Aussie, then we look at other things that might work also on the same model. And so if we look at the Aussie USD, same 0.1 of a lot, same time frame, you can see here, again, there's slightly more variance on this. The drawdown is about 3.4%, which again is very, very small. And the ultimate profit is 2,272. And again, you can see sort of better short trades with this. We had to alter the settings slightly to get it work to this instrument, but it's the same EA. And we altered essentially stop and take profit levels on this. And finally, we tested it out on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Again, altered the settings to optimize it. And you can see here the drawdown is very small, less than 1.5%, and a net profit of almost $1,300 on the 0.1 of a lot. You can see here that the average profit, average loss is a little closer in dollar terms. So less average profit so less average profit than on the other two, but nevertheless still far exceeding the loss by almost 2 to 1. You can see again those win percentages, particularly on the short trades, were good. So independently, those 3 models look pretty good. So what we mean by a book is we add those together. So if we put our 3 charts together, you can see there's the 3 equity curves. And we do it at the same time, you can see that there's an over $6,500 return. And you can see how much better that equity curve looks like with the 3 working together. And so if we took our drawdowns individually, there would be in excess of $700, which again is very, very good. But because they're working together and trading at slightly different times, when you consolidate them together, the actual drawdown drops from in excess of $700 to $400 in the worst scenario. So there's two things that make developing a book a really effective strategy when you're looking at EAs. First of all, there's that mitigation of risk. We've essentially halved the risk. And of course, we've extended the profit significantly by using the three EAs together under the same model. Now, of course, there's not just one model. So if we add the rest in, you can see here that these are the results up to $26,000 on the back test. These are the models that we used as part of this matrix with different models that you've seen before. And you can see there was no negative months at all. And you can see the equity curve looks astoundingly good. Here's the drawdown on each of these models individually, potentially. You can see there's a couple of high ones there. There's the 8.4% on the GB pound yen, 6.4% on the gold trade. So when you consolidate these all together, we've got a $26,000 profit, $4,000 of risk with the maximum drawdown on each of these individually. However, when they're working together, the worst period during this equity curve was a drawdown of $1,051. And if that's your risk, when you're potentially generating this sort of money in the course of 2 years on a very small account, bearing in mind that these are all low volumes. So this will be with approximately a $10,000 account to make sure that you stayed safe with things like margin and to account for that drawdown period. And so you can see the power now of EAs working together. And what we also did here was split it down by quarter. And within the quarter months, our worst month was August 2023. You can see that was down to 165. And our strongest month was this 2,450. So that's the way it works. That's the power of developing 6 EAs rather than just one. So, and that's why we wanted to have this participation, this community set up to continue to work on this as a concept into program 2. So we're looking for program 2. No programming coding required. We make sure that that happens for you and get access to our programmers at the end of the course. And you learn the practical skills throughout to be able to participate fully. There's a EA development video course. There's webinars every week to help you along the way. And you actively participate in the creation, testing, and refinement of 6 EAs. And yes, you'll get these developed models as part of the program once they're fully live. You gain the support of working within a group. There's not just me, there's a group of people who are there for support. And some of the guys who did program 1 are moving on to program 2 as well. And they will be offering support as well. And so we get the opportunity to experience the excitement of building and trading EAs together. So to make this happen, there's a couple of things that we've done to make this easier. First of all, we've kept the price at the program 1 price. We were going to raise it. It was supposed to be an introductory price with program 1, but we've kept it at the same price. And there is also an installment plan. Now, because we're moving close to Christmas, what I'm doing with the installment plan for program 2 is it's 3 payments of $620, but only the first one will be due this year. So we're delaying the second installment payment until January 2024. If you want to pay the full one-off payment up front, of course you can. And you can find out the details on how to do that at www.traderiq.com.au/6in6. So that's the one step that you must take if this is of interest to you, if you want to add automated trading to your investment toolbox and learning skills you can use for a lifetime. It's not just there you go, there's an EA, go and trade it. This is how you develop EAs now and in the future. It's a unique and exciting modular group approach to trading model creation. I haven't seen anything like this before. And all of the models will have user-defined fields, meaning you have absolute choice about how they're used in the context of your trading. And of course, alter the variables, alter the settings as you go forward to find the right ones for what you want to trade. So it's really that simple. For those of you who have been on the program Obviously, you don't have to re-register. There's a separate one-off fee for moving from program 1 to program 2, just an add-in cost. For those of you who want to jump in, it's really easy. You just go to that website address. And as I said, there is an installment plan available at program 1 investment level, kept it the same. It's likely to go up significantly as we move to program 3, which is due sometime in early 2024. We haven't finalized the date yet. We'd love to have you on board. So just go to that address there, commit, follow through to make a difference. If you want to be part of this, I'd be delighted to have you on board. If it's not for you for right now, that's okay too. I hope you've learned a couple of things today in this video. If you are going to be part of it, commit to taking trading action at every stage. If you think automated trading could be for you. And as we go through, the door is always open for asking questions. So review the content. There's a Discord channel where we discuss and show the models development, give you a chance to test them out as we are, so we can come up with the best models between us. It's exciting. It'd be great to see you there if it's right for you. And either way, it's been great to have you along to watch this video. Take care of yourself, trade safe. Catch you again very soon.